here at this event, sometimes printing is very tough, so we do it on computer to have ourselves organized. So, until we prepared a short statement, I think it's fair enough to try to get read that to set the stage, not to, in Liberia we say, don't beat around the bush. Go ahead and say exactly. Let me welcome my colleagues here on the stage, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to represent Liberia at this important side event, carbon dioxide removals. I extend, this is not right, that's a weird statement, right? I just jumped in it, right? I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the German Federal Ministry of Environment, the government of Ethiopia, the African Union, and partners for convening this very important dialogue, but also as part of the second Africa Summit on Climate. A summit that reminds us that Africa's voice must be united, bold, and solution-oriented. The Paris Agreement reminds us of the pathway to 1.5 degrees Celsius. But that road is narrow and fragile. As we accelerate emission reductions, science warns of overshoot rates. Carbon removals are therefore not a luxury, but an urgent necessity if we are to restore the balance of our climate system. Africa, through historically responsible for less than 4% of the global emission, holds some of the world's greatest potential for removals. Through our forests, soils, and mangrove, renewable energy, and emerging technologies, Liberia is proud to hold about 43% of the Upper Guinean forest, one of the most vital carbon sinks in West Africa, and the lifeline of our people. This dual reality, vulnerability to climate change, but also custodianship of natural capital, places Africa and West Africa in particular at the heart of the global climate response. For Liberia, removals must be guided by principles. One, integrity. Removals must be credible and must be science-based, aligned with Article 6, ensuring that they complement but not replace urgent emission cut elsewhere. Must generate jobs, create or conserve biodiversity, deliver resilience and dividends for women, youth, and local communities. Finance-based, Africa cannot carry the high cost of removals alone. We need conceptual finance, creating innovative de-risking instruments, and fair access to voluntary and compliant markets. Liberia is taking concrete steps. We have carried out nationwide stakeholder consultations and concluded the first draft of our carbon policy. We intend to validate this policy very soon, and we'll begin the process of drafting our law. And in fact, I want to announce that at COP30, please visit our pavilion, the Liberian Pavilion, where our carbon policy will be displayed. All the initiatives are backed by our President, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai, who is keen that we deliver on this instrument. What is the role of the West African Alliance in this process? As ambassador of the West African Alliance on Carbon Market and Climate Finance, I can attest that regional cooperation is key. Through the Alliance, West Africa is developing methodology tailored to our ecosystem and livelihood, building capacity of government, private sectors, and communities to access markets. Driving regional diplomacy to ensure Africa sets the bar for integrity in carbon markets, carbon removers. This alliance proved that when Africa cooperates regionally, we are stronger, more credible in our position to negotiate for fair outcome. But there are some barriers. The high cost of engineer removals, like direct air capture, methodological and scientific gap to Africa-specific ecosystem, investor hesitation due to uncertainty and risks. The answer lies in partnership, regional development banks such as PPAD, the Alliance, our government, and international partners must join forces to unlock private capital, advance science, African science, and ensure equitable benefit sharing. Last, the call to action, Excellencies AS2 challenges us to shift from aid to investment in African innovation. I propose 3 steps to advance African leadership in carbon removals. Invest in African science and innovation. We need to fill data gap and design African-owned solutions. In Liberia, for example, we have established state-of-the-art innovation laboratory where our scientists are practically measuring carbon stored in, I think it's a bit loud. We're going to old school. We get that?
Why I just begin to talk about Liberia and my way? No, you don't want to hear about our story in Liberia? But we have built a lot, and our scientists are practically measuring the above carbon and the below carbon. The young scientists are doing well, and sooner or later we'll have good data from Liberia to show the strength of our carbon systems. Communities and investors by strengthening regional partnerships like the West African Alliance. Africa must lead in developing the methodologies, safeguards, and market rules that reflect our realities, not rules designed somewhere and imposed on us. Like ensure fairness in carbon finance. Revenue from carbon market must flow equitably to African communities, advancing both climate justice and also development justice. I conclude by saying Liberia stands ready, nationally through the West African Alliance, to contribute to continental roadmap for removals that is fair, equitable, and transformative. Let us leave Addis Ababa not just as participants, but as agitors of a new era where Africa is seen not as a victim of climate change, but as a solution provided to the world, based upon everything we heard. Resources that we have, the forests we have, we cannot be seen as victims, but we are actually providing solutions. And that is the basis of the discussion. Thank you.